Hey everyone, welcome back. Welcome back to Generation X Nation. Now, as always, before we get started, we're going to have a conversation about these housewives because they are literally out here acting a fool. And I'm speaking particularly of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. Okay. Now, as always, thank you to all of my new subscribers. I think the last time I checked, I needed maybe 4 new to get to 500. You guys on YouTube, when you get 500 subscribers, then you're actually monetized by YouTube. That's why I never ask you guys for money because I do this because I enjoy doing it. I'm not doing it to make gains financially. Okay. But I do want at least a YouTube plaque or something. All right. And with that being said, everything on my channel is alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes. Once again, alleged, in my opinion, and for entertainment purposes. Hit the like button, hit the comment section. You know I reply to y'all comments, and I do have conversations with some of y'all. Hold on a second, because I'm going to need all of this for the Real Housewives of Atlanta. I'm going to do a 3-minute wrap up on Rhode Island, because all they really talk about was Kelsey having a sugar daddy. But I got my thoughts on that. Anyway, the ladies all gather together. They get on a private jet. Hey, I'll be honest, Cynthia flew them out in style. They get to Texas, and then they finally get to this big mansion that she rented out. Now, the place they were going was a little farther than Dallas. It's not actually in Dallas. It's a little city, probably 45 minutes outside of Dallas. That has these mansions. I'm not going to call the names. Y'all can look the mansion up yourself because they gave you the name of the mansion on the show. Okay. Now, with that being said, Cynthia gave the ladies a tour. The lady came in who owned the facility, the house, gave the people a tour. Beautiful mansion. They went into every room, the pool house and the tiny house and the main house. And no time during this tour did they even notice anything was dirty or said anything or telling Cynthia that they was, not happy with the accommodations, right? So Cynthia gets back to the main house with everybody, and she's like, hey, I don't want all this room drama we've had on screen before, so I'm just going to sign rooms and get it out of the way. It does look a little weird because you kind of put the newbies off by themselves. The only newbie in the main house was K. Michelle. I guess y'all probably didn't want her to go off. However, Pinky got her own room, and I appreciate the fact that she gave Pinky that, I think it was the pool house, the tiny house went to Pinky. And I think that was cool because Pinky does seem like she's struggling to connect with the other girls. She's okay with Kelli and Shamea, but she's struggling to connect with these other girls. And I guess she didn't want it to feel awkward in the house. And if you notice, only the OGs was in the main house outside of K. Michelle. I think K. Michelle got a pass because they know K. Michelle will go off. Just my opinion. Anyway, she gave the pool house to Shamea and Kelli, and they act like they had a problem with it. And I'll be honest with you, y'all two getting on their nerves. They don't want to be around y'all. That's why they put y'all back there. You can come in, eat dinner, and go on little excursions, whatever they're doing, or eat whatever events that she have set up. But they don't want to be around y'all all day because y'all are nothing but silly and immature and very messy, as they showed on this particular episode. All right, so Pinky's now in the tiny house. Kelli and Shamea are in the pool house, right? And then the rest of the girls are in the main room, the main house, and they got to pick their rooms. So Shamea and Kelli feeling the type of way. Pinky, you don't really see it in her, but I think she's feeling the type of way. So then they go out to the pool house and start complaining. And this is what I didn't understand. During the walkthrough, y'all didn't have no issues. Now you get in there, and all of a sudden, you got all these complaints about the house is dirty, the sheets are dirty, and it's not like, in my opinion, very big things on that they couldn't live without. I get it. You don't want to sleep on blank on dirty sheets. I personally always order extra sheets when I go have to sleep in a hotel or something, and I sleep on top of the sheets, on top of the comforter. I never sleep underneath because I don't know who had that room before me and what they was doing. Considering how some of these people act nowadays and these music out here, I don't want none of your juices on me, so I always give me an extra blanket and I sleep on top of any bed with a pillow. Okay, that's as far as I go. Now, they act like they was very upset about it, and seemed like Pinky was okay with her pool house. She does like her privacy. So then they start, of course, Shamika has to call Gerald, tell Gerald everything is just so bad in his room. This is the worst room ever, whatever. It's filthy. And so that filth caused you guys not wanting to clean up and come to dinner. That's what you tell me. It's just that bad because you wasn't sleeping in the bed at that moment. You just need to take a shower and go to dinner. Now the sink did look bad. You could have easily went to one of these other girls' rooms, said, "Hey, can I use your shower? Our room is messed up. They need to come and clean it." And I'm sure they would have let y'all come in there. So I call BS on all of that. Kelli called it an outhouse. I think that was very rude because Cynthia tried her best to make sure this trip was accommodating to everybody. And y'all just rude the whole time he was on the trip. Shamea complaining to Gerald. We know Gerald ain't showing up. Gerald probably don't even want no parts of this show. He's doing it because Shamea wants to be on this show. So after that, Angela comes out to them. They're sitting at the pool. Angela comes out, asking what's going on. And they say, the room was filthy. They're not coming to dinner. She said, oh, frick and frack or frick and whack, however Kelli, worded. She said something about whack. They should be out here in the pool house, not us. They OGs, they're not going to the pool house, Kelli. Get over it. This is your second season. We gave you a pass the first season because of the whole Brit Edie thing, but you are getting on our nerves, and you about to end your season before it starts. Okay, you about to end your tenure on Real Housewives of Atlanta before it starts. If you don't just shut up and stop complaining, we tired of hearing it. We tired of hearing it. And after that, they came back. I'm sorry. Angela left. And then they said, Angela's going to repeat everything they said that we said back here. So, and that's what Angela's job. Angela is like the Cherie Whitfield of the show. We love her. She's absolutely beautiful, but she found a storyline. She's going to throw it in the pot and keep it pushing. And that's what Angela did. So for y'all to sit here knowing she's going to repeat that, why did you say it is my issue? You should just left it alone. Okay. Um, so anyway, they come down. They, of course, they complain about the room being disrespectful, and everybody's at dinner. And K Michelle didn't show up to dinner because my glam squad's not here. And I'm confused. If your glam squad wasn't there, but you were still on camera at the pool, what difference it make? You got all these people in there to have makeup artists, and I know you particular about certain people, but they could have, at the minimum, put some lashes on for you, some lip gloss, and maybe just a light coat of a foundation, so you can go to the dinner. You just didn't want to go to the dinner. That's all. Now, Pinky said, "Hey, I'm gonna let Shamea and Kelli sleep in my room that night." Yada yada yada. Great, great, Pinky. That's great. Good for you. And I don't know where Pinky gonna sleep. I think she's gonna sleep in the main house with one of the ladies there. Maybe. I'm sorry, Portia, somebody else. She said she was sleeping in the main house with one of the ladies. All right, so Kelli is sitting back at the pool. They're having their drinks. K Michelle comes in and she sits down with them. Now, once again, y'all all claim y'all don't look right to be on camera. K Michelle ain't got her makeup on to be on camera, but y'all sitting at the pool on camera talking about stuff. And then finally, Kelli mentioned her ex, which we all seen him. He was on some blogs. I'm not calling names, but he did some interviews with some people, and he didn't make Kelli look good. Okay, he didn't present her in the best light. So now he's protesting at the courthouse about the custody, and she's just going, crying, a little upset. And my thing is this, Kelli, if you're going through all of this and you that sad and people are harassing you, why are you on the show harassing people and trying to make their life miserable when you got something going on in your whole life? That don't make no sense to me. And she said he's trying not to allow the children to film, and we know that's extra money for the kids. When they film, they can make a little money to put into their college fund. So Kelli, you going through all of this mess in your own life, but yet you taking that pain and evenness out on people who ain't got nothing to do with it, and that's Portia and Phaedra. You might want to check yourself. So as the dinner start going in, Pinky basically takes over the conversation. Angela lets everybody know that Kelli and Shamea called them freaking whack or freaking frat whack or whatever the case may be. And then Pinky just wants to know, well, why did that happen? How'd you get the room arrangements? What went on here? And Cynthia said in confessional, "Hey, Kelli and Shamea, grown women, they can call me if they got a problem." I agree with that. Pinky, you got bigger things to worry about. All right. Phaedra said, "I don't give a damn what they call me with their Ren and Stimpy ass." Go ahead, Phaedra. That's what I'm talking about. Those three, I'm not saying K Michelle, but that doggone Kelli and Shamea is going to be the downfall this season because they don't know when to keep their mouth shut and let shit go. Excuse me, I don't mean to cuss. Let me back up, okay? See it. So anyway, Angela basically started talking, and she's saying to herself, like, Pinky is giving off this bad energy. Pinky, I hope you looked at the particular episode because you were giving off some bad energy. So Angela was kind of asking, what is your, what is going on and whatnot. And I don't know, Pinky just kind of looked there. She got a little smart with Angela. I'll get into the big argument in a minute. However, there was a part where Portia tried to kill the conversation. And she was like, what is the issue with she said there's other people that have issues at this table, and somebody said, well, what is the issue with Portia and Kelli? And Portia said, hey, I tried to give her some flowers, she gave me a little feedback, negative. And of course Pinky gets in. She said, well, didn't you say she messed with a married man? So did Kelli. Do y'all not remember first season when Britt Edie was on there and they was at the Sterling Manor, and Kelli and Britt Edie sat down there, and Kelli looked at Portia and said, why did you steal that lady's husband? Do we not forget you did that, Kelli? So it's fair game, in my opinion, for Portia to ask you, reveal that you sleeping with a married man. Don't get offended because you literally asked that lady in front of everybody, why you steal that lady's husband? This is what I mean about deflection and all of that. And then the conversation goes to Pinky and Phaedra. And then Phaedra, Pinky is accusing Phaedra of telling people she sell meat. That is my brand. You eat meat. That is my brand. I do vegan, and we should not be saying all that. But Phaedra's basically saying, Pinky, you might want to leave this alone and worry about that rent you owe while you worried about who eat meat or not. But also, to Phaedra's defense, it was Shamea and Kelli saying you eat meat. Kelli, they literally rolled the clip where Kelli was sitting there saying, Shamea eats, not Shamea, Pinky eats steak. I seen her eat steak. But your energy is mad toward Phaedra, who has since apologized and admitted she never said that. She didn't say it. All the clips showing Kelli and Shamea repeating that. All Phaedra said is, I knew her back when she owned a Jamaican restaurant and they served, oxtails, blase, blase. She never said, and I seen Pinky eating it. Kelli said it, and so did Shamea said. So Pinky, if you're watching this episode, you owe Phaedra apology. Just my opinion. But Pinky did say, well, who said it? Where did it come from? Phaedra didn't respond back, but we all know Shamea and Kelli told Pinky this when they were actually the ones that said she ate meat. Just my opinion. So after that, the three ladies at the pool, Cynthia go check on them. They claim everything is good. Then they leave out. Now, once it kind of made them, they kind of insinuated that Cynthia intentionally put him in a dirty room. No, she did not. She intentionally put you in that room because of y'all friendship and y'all closeness. But she didn't intentionally put you in the room because it was dirty, because she didn't know it was dirty, because you guys did a tour. Now, she has called the people to come clean it up. Y'all need to just dead that. It's not an outhouse, it's a pool house. Okay. And it wasn't you. When you saying filthy, we're looking at it like, I mean, damn, you had your own private chef in there. It was generally clean. You probably just needed the sheets changed and somebody to come and wash out the bathroom. It wasn't that damn 30. Y'all was just exaggerating that for storyline and trying to make Cynthia look bad. And it fell flat, okay? Now, Angela's sitting at the table looking at Pinky like, what's going on? She said, Pinky, stay on ready. And she do. And then Pinky was like, I just feel like this house is divided. And then Angela's like, well, what do you think? And then Pinky kept going in. And that's when Portia was like, what do you mean divided? So everybody kind of felt a certain way about it. And finally, Angela said, are you bothered by me or something? Because you keep referring back to me or looking at me crazy, whatever. And she said, I'm not bothered by you. I'm not insecure or anything. I'm not bothered. Now, at the end of the day, if you're not bothered by her, why did you need to remind us that you're not bothered by her? Because all you had to do was say, no, Angela, I'm cool. And then that's when Angela and Pinky went back and forth. And let me just say this before I get into all of the conversation there. Now, Pinky has told us for the umpteenth time about her bankruptcy. We don't need to hear it no more. Even on this episode, you sat down and explained chapter 1 from chapter 7 from chapter 11 or 13, whatever, how this is under your business name, but this is not even let it go, Pinky. I've said this every episode. We understand housewives go on this show and sometimes they portray a lifestyle that they really don't live. So we get that, okay? We understand you have a husband that's rich. We understand, allegedly, we understand that you're trying to get out of debt. Just focus on getting out of debt. You don't have to keep telling us about your bankruptcy. Now what you need to do is show the audience how to get out of a bankruptcy. So maybe somebody will learn something from this, because right now your bankruptcy is your storyline and we don't care about that. We want to know who the real Pinky is, okay? And it's the same thing with Kelli. Kelli, you got a whole child, whatever issue going on, and it may be sad and hard, but there's a lot of celebrities going through what you're going through, and reality TV stars going through what you're going through. So instead of you throwing shade and picking fights with Portia, focus on what's going on in your life and air that. That makes us connect to you a little more. Okay? And Shamea, I don't know who you trying to prove what to, because one, you really don't need to be here. This may be just your own personal journey that you want to get on to show that you can go out and make money and be successful. You already had somewhat of a career, you said, in Atlanta, singing and different stuff. We know you're on a radio show, but really, the buffoonery you doing, and we all can see, a blind man can see that your husband is not into this show. He probably liked it better when you were just a friend of the show, showing up every now and then at events with Candy and Portia. He don't want you there. All right, so let's finish this up now. They going back and forth. She said, "You are a B and a bitch." Oh, I'm like cussing. And then Angela's like, "What?" And everybody went quiet. And she said, Angela said, "You know what? You call me a bitch. I'll take that." She said, "Well, I meant it as a term of endearment. You did not mean it like that way, Pinky. Stop playing." She said, Angela said, "Bitch is the best in taking control of herself." Well, go ahead, Angela. She said, "I'm going to take that negative and put it into a positive." So then they get to arguing about the money. And she talking about, "You can't touch the money I have." And then Angela said, "Well, you might want to pay your people then." She said, "I can throw a rock and hit at least 10 people in town that you owe." And she said, "I run multi-million-dollar businesses. My husband is rich. My husband's a millionaire. My bills are taken care of." And Angela's like, "Well, pay your employees. If you have a multi-million-dollar business, you got multi-million-dollar bills." And then she said, "You need to worry about your foreclosures. I should have bought all your houses and this and that." Angela, but she said, "You need to worry about your own debt and the foreclosures." Angela said, "I ain't got no debt. They foreclosed and I let them go." See, one thing you ain't gonna do is shame Angela, okay? So then she went into the looks department. "I'll buy you a new lace front." And then she said, "You need to get your teeth fixed." And Angela was like, she said, "You need new veneers." And then Angela said, "Your teeth are commingling. They look like the ancestors' teeth that are commingling together in your mouth." And if you know what commingling is, look that up. That means they just all bunched together. Okay. So again, Pinky throws out, "That's why you in menopause. Don't go buy a fan or something." Pinky, there are thousands, a matter of fact, millions of women in menopause. That was not a dig. It was really disrespectful. There's a whole lady on TikTok that became famous with the line, "We do not care," for perimenopause and menopausal women. So that was not a dig. It was really an insult. And one day, Pinky, your ass gonna be in menopause and you gonna think back on what you said to Angela. And then she said, basically, Pinky said she brought her business. She told Angela to kiss her ass and stood up, her ass a little flat. And Phaedra said, "I'm going to like a juicy ass if you want me to kiss it." Then all of a sudden, she sat back down. She mentioned something about her eyelashes. Oh, she said, I'm sorry. She said, and I quote, "If you take off that them eyelashes, that wig, and that makeup, you'll look just like a boy." And Charles wouldn't even want your ass. She said, "I could take all this off and still pull Charles." And then she went on to talk about her looks. I don't like getting too much into looks, but Pinky, you should have never said that. And then again, Pinky got so pissed because Angela was eating her behind up about not paying her employees, about the money that she owed. Angela said, "My house is in foreclosure. I don't owe no money. They can have those houses back." She right. She said, "I lost 2 million." She admitted that. So she doesn't owe anybody. She lost 2 million. The house went to foreclosure. She good. She's starting out on a new plate. And that's how we like to see. Expose your life, good, bad, and indifferent. At the end of the day, we don't know everything about these housewives. So when we start seeing that they have regular issues like regular people, that's what people like to see. But Pinky, we get it. Don't let the foreclosure be your only storyline. We watching Angela regroup, get back on track after foreclosure. We know all you housewives ain't as rich as y'all say y'all are, but anyway, that's it. So as she decided to leave Then she came back. Then she was talking about your husband don't like you. Pinky told Angela, yo, that's why your husband doesn't like you. I don't know, Pinky. I just see Charles and Angela interact a lot. They love each other. He don't like her. He loves her. Your husband allow you to goof off $2 million, baby. That's love. Because another man probably would have left her for that. But that's love. He stayed in there and he's still supporting her on her fan endeavors. So she got to support her husband, okay? Now, at the end of the day, Angela said, that's why you and your husband got a wife living in the basement. I said, oh my God, are we polyamorous, polygamy? Pinky never actually denied it. She never denied it. She got really pissed and then she kind of clammed up. And then all of a sudden, she threw in the white flag. She surrendered. She literally surrendered. And the whole issue, like Angela was saying, Pinky, it wasn't the questions Angela was asking or your responses. It's the tone in which you responded. We all was watching it. You sound very aggressive and very defensive. And we don't like using aggressive on Black women because we try to say they're passionate. But no, baby, that's an example of aggression for no reason. So I get it why Angela said you got an issue with me because you just kept snapping at her nasty for no reason. Now, I found that odd that I found it odd that Angela mentioned the lady in the basement, and we like, oh, not another person in the basement because we know Drew got Ralph in the basement, and Pinky never denied it. And that's when she stopped, threw in the white flag, surrendered, and then her and Angela actually had a conversation quietly. She said, I don't have an issue with you. It's just tone in which you respond to people. And I think one or two people on the table kind of agreed with Angela. And that's when Pinky maybe it finally sunk in. But at the whole time Angela was trying to tell you this, you snapping at her, going off. You were on the defense. My husband got multi-million dollars. I'm good. I have a business. I pay my employee. You just snapping. You look like this. You built like that. Just calling her all kind of outside of her name. Start talking about how each other look. And none of that was necessary, Pinky. It really wasn't. And again, your first season, you're trying to grow a fan base in the audience. Yes, everybody know you the slutty vegan lady. Yes, you probably got a lot of family and friends that support you in your restaurants, but you are on a reality TV show. That's totally different than you selling vegan burgers at your restaurant. You have millions of people who turn in every week to watch you. They're watching your actions, your personality, your children, how you interact with your husband, all of that. And in this particular scene, as I always say, my commentary is alleged in my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. Alleged in my opinion and for entertainment purposes only. You came off aggressive and defensive. And you had your guards up for no reason. The girls' trip was supposed to be relaxing. And that's really not what we saw. So get it together with your bankruptcies. Don't even talk about it. Focus on the business. You got a loving husband, some beautiful kids, some absolute beautiful, beautiful kids. Work on that, Pinky, and work on building a better relationship with your castmates and not being so aggressive and ready to strike. Because we know everybody come on the Housewives franchises and they like, oh God, is they gonna come for me? They're gonna throw some shade, whatever. I gotta be prepared. We like you to do it naturally. This is why homegirl Kelli is catching it because she's doing way too much. This is why Shamea is catching it because she's doing way too much. We just want y'all to be natural. There is no way in hell Cynthia Bailey would have put them in a pool house that was completely dirty, filthy, and left them there. Cynthia literally thought, hey, y'all like each other. Y'all can go back there, crack your jokes, whatever. But y'all try to make Cynthia feel bad. Y'all don't know 50 Cent. Y'all seeing Cynthia. Get under her skin and you're going to see 50 Cent. And I think the next episode, it kind of comes out. But here's the last thing I will say. Michelle, Kelli, and Shamea, according to them, they were not dressed appropriately to go to dinner because K. Michelle couldn't have her get her the glam team together, and the other two ladies didn't feel that they could shower and get dressed in that room because it was just so filthy. But the minute they sat by that pool and heard some rumblings going up on the other side of the house and her voices get loud, They managed to walk their behinds from that pool and sit right down there, suffocate Michelle at that table and listen to the drama. So if you could have sat there then, you could have sat there an hour or two ahead of time when they was actually having a meal. Y'all are full of crap. K. Michelle, love you to death. Love you down. But you can't keep walking off scenes and not want to talk to people and then only talk when you feel like it with one or two. You gonna have to participate in the group activities, K. Michelle. Now we sat down with what's her name? I'm sorry, Angela and Pinky. I've seen the one-on-ones with them. We also seen you sit down with Portia. So we now need to see you sit in a closed environment like you are right now with the rest of the girls, K. Michelle, because you are a draw. People are coming to see how you act. I don't want to see Love and Hip Hop, K. Michelle. Everybody agree we don't want that, but we also want to see you participate. And you're trying your best, and it could be because you know you can go from 0 to 60. I don't know, but you're gonna have to sit down and participate in some of these outings when all the cast is there, and stop walking away. You stood right there behind Pinky, and then when it was all said and done, I'm leaving and walked off. You should have stayed like Shamea and Kelli did. Now, I don't even like the fact that they showed up when they couldn't show up when the dinner was actually going on. Cynthia was polite enough to get them a takeout, make sure the chef get them some takeouts and take to them. But y'all want to show up for the mess. Y'all want to show up for the fight. I would have told them why y'all here now when you couldn't show up when it was dinner time because you couldn't take a shower, but you wore what you wore here. That's all. You could have came in that same outfit and say, hey, I'm sorry I wasn't able to change, but I'm here for the dinner, whatever. No, y'all didn't want to come because the room was so filthy. But yet you there for the mess. That's all I'm saying. And that's my wrap up of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, share, subscribe to my channel for people to go to get to 500. I appreciate every single person who's subscribed, who's liked, who left a comment. I do interact with people. Today is going to be a quick day. I got to go through a 3-minute wrap up of the Real Housewives of Rhode Island because them ladies up there is a trip, but I didn't see a lot going on other than Kelsey and her sugar daddy breaking up. And that's probably what my 3-minute wrap up would be about. I got to run some errands, go to the post office and things like that. So I had to try to hurry this up. And I still went over the time limit I want to go over, but I like to get things out so you can see a different angle, especially when Kelli and Britt sat on that couch and asked Portia, why you steal somebody's husband? But at the same time, Portia's wrong for asking Kelli why you sleeping with a married man. Make that make sense. Those are things that my mind pick up on. The hypocrisy and the favoritism and opposite. Like it's okay for you to do it, but it's a problem when I do it. And that's what I see in the show. Also the lies, because at the end of the day, and I Miss Pinky, I don't have anything against any, I don't have a dog in this fight. I'm gonna tell you if you're good one episode, I'm gonna tell you if you bad the next episode. And this episode, Miss Pinky was not that good. Kelli and Shamea were not that good. They were terrible people in this episode. And at the end of the day, Pinky, don't talk about your bankruptcy no more. And Kelli and Shamea, y'all need to stop trying to come for Portia, just finding a reason to come for Portia or setting people up to hate Portia when you were the two people that actually said that Pinky ate meat. Had nothing, I'm not Portia, Phaedra. It had nothing to do with Phaedra. And with that being said, this is Generation X Nation. You guys go and have a great rest of your day. I'm going to go watch these Rhode Island Housewives, do my 3-minute wrap up, and I'm going to do a video on some hot topics because there's a lot going on here. I don't know which I'm going to do it on. Could be politics. It could be Stefan Diggs and the rest of these loose ninjas out here that's always harassing and messing with females. And again, females, you got to take some responsibility too. Stop going after these bums. I ain't going to call them bums. Stop going after these guys who don't treat you right. You can't keep putting money ahead of your dignity, your morals, and your values. But I don't understand why these men have been growing up lately to just disrespect and hate women. We need to figure that out. Okay? All right, you guys go on. I'm off. You guys go have a great rest of your day. And as always, this is Gen X Nation. Peace. And I am out.